I've worked 20 plus years and failed along the way to get here. Your biggest fear is that you're going to fail. Well, guess what? If you fail 150 times in a row and you get up over and over again, that failure becomes a lot easier to take.
Tracy, how the fuck do you look so good? You look really good.
Thank you. But by the way, so do you. Genetics, partially. My mom is 76 years old and literally just, wakes up and looks beautiful. Like she's still natural. She'll kill me for telling you this. Actually, she probably wouldn't. But she just had her eyes done and lifted at 75. It's the first surgery she's ever had in her life because her eyes were starting to hang low and she was having a problem seeing. And so she had that done. But outside of that, she's 100% natural. So God gave me that gift to start off with. And then, a lot of years of lasers and Dr. Lancer yelling at me, telling me not to be in front of the computer.
Talk about that. I agree.
I mean, when you're an agent at nighttime, that's what you're spending your time doing. So he was like, here's the bottom line. And I've been with him for 20 plus years at this point. So he started treating me when I was in my 20s. And he's like, I need you to step away from the computer. I go, that's my job. Like, I can't. He's like, you need to get blockers. You need to wear sunscreen in front of the computer. I have a special one that's like, he's crazy. And then you need to never go in the sun again.
We haven't seen him in a long time.
I love him. His book changed my life.
He is a godsend. His bedside manner is one of the most famous in Los Angeles. There's no one funnier. Like, first of all, zero bedside manner, which I, of course, adore about him. So every time we do something together and I go in for a laser and I'm like shooting it for, content because people want to know what I'm doing. So they're like, well, let's do it. And he walks in and he's like, oh, you're shooting? And I'm like, put a smile on, okay, Harold, and suck it up. This is for you. But he's the best.
He says no sun, like you just said. He doesn't like sun on the back. He doesn't like sun on the arms.
I screwed up my chest. And just because naturally your sun goes to your chest and I had my face just completely covered and I, 80 every half an hour if I'm anywhere out in the sun. And I really don't lay in the sun very much, but just from like driving in the car, my chest gets wrecked. So now I have to go back in and try a new laser for that as well. I just did the M8.
You know what you need to try?
What?
Driving gloves.
Oh my God, my hands are so wrecked. I 100% need them. Do they have cute ones though? Or is it like weird old lady, like?
Well, we're going to find you a pair.
Okay.
Trust me. We're going to find you a pair.
We need like a diva pair.
My thing is like, your face can look great. I'm not talking about you in general. Your face can look great. Your neck can look great. But like, then you're driving and then like the hands. And I'm looking down and I just had to get IPL on them.
I 100% need to do that too, because from driving and being in the car all day long and I'm never in the office and we're in LA. So the sun is crazy. I'm constantly having to reapply sunscreen, but I have sunspots from it.
I imagine with what you do, you probably spend a good amount of time in the car in LA.
All the time. And I really honestly need to hire a driver because I have crashed more cars than anyone cares to mention.
Well, I would think that would be smart in your business for you to hire a driver because you have to be in the car running around all day and it's all time that you're taking away from being able to work.
100%.
I'm assuming you're talking on the phone.
Cut to why I've crashed so many times, including on the show. But when you're on the phone and you're trying to talk to clients and then a text comes in, you're at the stoplight and you're making a left, you're late for an appointment. It's like nuts.
Trying to review paperwork, trying to get on the email, see the,
yeah. So I'm going to look into that 2023.
Well, listen, if this podcasting doesn't work out, I'll be your driver.
You should have a driver too, just because.
I'll wear a hat and I'll wear gloves.
Sun gloves.
It's efficient with your time. You can
100%.
work. I mean, out of all people, like Michael said, you know what you should do? You should get a tinted window car
100%.
And have a driver drive you.
You know what, though? I would be one of those drivers that would say I wasn't listening and I would press the button on the intercom and like listen to the conversations in the back. Just like, and you see the movie, those people that are like,
I would literally be exact opposite. I would be in the front listening to my podcast, not caring.
But I feel like that's like a new character on my show, though. Like whoever the driver is like, it's like Ryan Serhant's driver on MDL New York was like the funniest guy ever. I can't remember. It was like Serge or something. It was like this crazy Russian. I mean, I'd have to have like a fabulous gay, like guy from Ecuador or something.
You don't want Josh?
No. No, he'd crash, first of all, and we should not be in a car together. Like, I can barely travel with him anymore. It's like a whole thing.
Okay, so one thing that I notice about your Instagram and your stories, and I want you to really elaborate on, is that you are very into weightlifting. And I think women are very scared of weightlifting. I just started doing it probably a year and a half ago. It's completely changed my body. I'm still in the midst of doing it, but I can already notice a huge difference. What has been your experience with weightlifting?
I have been on the yo-yo train of every single woman sort of following the fads of what to do, what not. Is Pilates the right way to go? It's hot yoga. It's Tracy Anderson. It's like running 100 miles an hour, 5 miles a day. Like, I've done it all. And the problem for me as I've gotten older, and I'm 47 now, is it's too much. Like, it's too much on my body daily for me to take that on. So now I'm more interested. I get on the treadmill. I do a long walk, a minimum of 45 minutes, no matter what, on a hill. And I check emails and I watch a show. And this is at usually 6 o'clock in the morning. And then I'm training and weight training at 7, which started for me about 3 years ago. It is 1000% changed my view because, of course, we don't want to be bulky, and I'm half Armenian. I have thighs. So like, I start like hiking heavy or lifting heavy, and my assumption was that I was just going to get bigger thighs, which I never wanted. And then all of a sudden I'm squatting, heavy weight, like real weight, and doing deadlifts. And I found that I burned more fat, leaned out, but like still had good muscle tone. And my abs completely changed. So the weightlifting for me has put me in better shape, honest to God, than I was in my 20s.
Yeah, I don't think people realize, especially women, and not to just be sexist or generalize, like how heavy and how much you have to consume to get that bulk you're talking about. I mean, like, this is like what men that are trying to compete in the, in weightlifting competitions do to try to get, like, that's so much lifting. I don't think people realize, like, what happens first is you build the mechanism to boost your metabolism and actually burn fat through muscle. And then you also, you pack it in and actually become more dense first before you can get big. Right. So people like get scared because like, oh, I don't want to be this big, bulky person. I don't think people realize like in order to get to that, you have to be lifting exorbitant amounts of weight
and eating exorbitant amount of calories.
Yeah. Like if you look at someone like Chris Hemsworth and he does Hulk or whatever, what's Hulk? What's Thor? Like he's eating ice cream and pizza and he's lifting all this heavy.
Welcome to my boyfriend's daily diet.
Yeah. And then but as soon as he stops, it all kind of deflates. It's so hard to maintain that.
It is hard to maintain that. But for a woman who doesn't necessarily have the challenge, because we're not going to ever eat like that if we're wanting to maintain like health and fitness and whatever, like it actually leans you out. And I've become so much stronger. I feel better than I've ever felt. And for me, I attribute it to honestly starting weight training at Dog Pound when I met my boyfriend.
Well, I imagine too, your sleep's probably improved from weightlifting.
Yes, 100%.
Like running and all that other stuff kind of like, I actually think it doesn't contribute so well to sleep.
Totally. And I also feel like when I was working out like that and doing Soul Cycle or Barry's Boot Camp and all of these crazy high intensity things to sort of lose weight and trim down, I was so hungry after that I have to like force feed myself like within an hour, and my body wasn't able to sustain that kind of, I work out 5 to 6 days a week doing something.
What is your workout schedule? Are you waking up first thing and doing it? Walk us
100%.
through what that looks like.
I wake up usually about 5:45 in the morning. And well, Eric's up at 4:30 to 5. So, and I'm a very light sleeper. So I usually can stay in bed for another half hour, maybe 45 minutes. And then he's off to the gym and then I follow suit. I get on the treadmill. I walk between 45 minutes and an hour. First, I have a celery juice at the house.
Are you walking at like 3.0? You have to give us
No,
specifics.
I walk at 3.5 to 3.7 between a 5 incline and a 7.5 incline. If I'm up at 7.5,
I need to write that down.
If I'm up at 7.5, I'm at the 3.5. And if I'm at 5, I'm at 3.7. And I think it's just like that comfortable walking pace, because the key is to not, like, you want your heart rate somewhere between for me, 125 to 140. 140 starts to teeter on a little too high to maintain an hour. So I try to keep it around 130 to 135 is like my happy place, in that zone where I'm just fat burning the entire time.
How are you measuring this?
So would this
I
be
have
like
an in-body machine.
An in-body machine.
I'm 100%
Hold on, Michael. I have a
you.
couple of questions that are detailed
but
for
quick,
you.
is this like you and I could carry a conversation when you're walking like this? Like you're not so out of breath that
100%.
okay.
Now, are you returning emails on your phone or are you?
Yes.
Okay, so you're working as you're walking.
Yes, I don't spend the entire hour doing that. Sometimes, like I usually will get on, I'll check immediately what the status is from the night before because I turn my phone to sleep mode around 8:30 because I have to go to bed. And if you're getting up at 5:30 in the morning, you have to go to bed. And clients will call me until 10:30 at night if I don't turn it off. So once I set it down for the night, I have like an hour and a half of like rest. So a lot of stuff happens between that time. So the first thing I do is check all the emails, make sure there's nothing like crazy pressing. And then I text Cody, handle it.
Cody's efficient.
Yeah. So Cody's efficient with that in the morning. And then I take literally the last half hour and I zone out. I'll listen to a podcast. I'll do something that's just like good for the soul and just me.
And then you hop into weight training after this hour.
Yes. Usually it'll bleed into about 15 minutes of the hour of weight training. A lot of people, hire trainers that they feel like they're hiring a trainer and that they're doing the work. They show up 5 minutes late. They've done 0 warm-up, 0 cardio. So effectively, they end up spending a half an hour weight training, of which the last 5 minutes is, either sit-ups or some sort of stretching program or whatever. And they waste the first 20 minutes of their workout warming up on the treadmill, which I come in and do the hour before. It's a commitment, but I can't do it in the afternoon. I am spent. And I feel like it revives me. It puts like the serotonin in my blood back again to like be pumping so that I can, depending on the day that I had the day before or what deal I lost or what negotiation we won and just the highs and lows of our business, honest to God, puts me back at 0. And so I can function.
So at this point, you've had your celery juice.
Yeah.
What comes next?
Usually, shamefully, a Celsius.
Oh, you told me that you love
and a
Celsius.
dream. It's an addiction. I have a cola Celsius problem.
You have a Coca-Cola and a Celsius?
No, there's a cola flavored Celsius.
And you can't get it everywhere. It's a
How
thing.
do you have that in the morning? Isn't it like...
It's a problem. Like I said, like I go on and off coffee where sometimes I can drink it and then sometimes it's like I'm pregnant again and I can't touch it. And when I'm doing those modes, which I'm in right now, I drink a Celsius and it gives me the energy I need to kind of get to the gym and power through.
It's kind of like an Adderall-ishy, but not an Adderall.
Yeah.
I mean, I really wish that I liked...
100%. I wish it was better for you. Like
I wish that I liked Celsius. I really do wish it's too sweet for me.
Good for you.
Don't start?
Don't start.
You're not going to inspire me to start?
There's like plenty of drinks out there that are probably better. I know eBoost does one that's actually it's like a pre-workout drink that's a little bit better for you.
I feel like Celsius is one of those things, like if you're really into it, you're really into it. And if you're not, you're just kind of like, don't.
There's only one flavor I can drink, and that's the cola flavor. And I don't drink even Coca-Cola. So
you just sold them out. Everyone's going to get it.
I'm obsessed.
They haven't reached out yet?
No. I'm like, probably because like their demographic is like a 20-something and I'm like double the demographic.
You
so
look
like,
20. You're perfect. So after you have your Celsius, will you wait to eat breakfast? Are you intermittent fasting? Walk us through what you're eating throughout the day.
So here's the thing. By default, by being allergic to eggs, breakfast kind of sucks for me because what am I going to have? Pancakes? And if I'm on vacation, I'll have like a chia pudding or some sort of like acai bowl or something like that. But I don't traditionally wake up and eat breakfast. I'll work out, I'll come back, and I will usually intermittent fast by virtue of not wanting to have pancakes for breakfast until 1 or 2 o'clock.
If I was allergic to eggs, I don't know if I could live.
Right. Like
that's tough. I
mean, I'm not like anaphylactic, but it's bad. It's red zone.
That's a tough allergy. You have to avoid a lot with eggs.
What are you breaking your fast with?
Cheeseburger.
Really?
Yeah.
Nope. Like full bun, everything.
Like bun. Oh, like breaking the fast?
Yeah.
No, like my daily. No, I mean like if I'm like want to have fun on the weekend. Usually for lunch, I have this Mediterranean tuna salad, which I'm sending you the recipe for, which is, I don't know if you like tuna.
Hold on. I think Haley Heckman told me about this
because
because
life changing.
Wait, no, you know what? Oh, I'm going to put you on the spot. Haley told me about a smoothie that you make.
It's fire.
An almond crunch smoothie. And I actually wrote this down. I was going to actually DM you about it.
It's so good.
Before you get into the Mediterranean salad, first you got to tell us about that smoothie.
Okay. So the smoothie is what I do if I don't have time to like sit down and have a meal and I'm like really on the go and I got to walk out the door. And that is frozen blueberries, organic, obviously, flax, chia, cachava, usually cachava vanilla protein, which is vegan. And I love cachava because it actually comes with all the other stuff in it. And then I put like a little bit of, you can use almond milk or oat milk, whatever you want to use, but a healthier milk. People got on me for the milk that I used. I'm like, I ran out, guys.
Use milk.
Yeah, milk is the milk
Milk's
that you
the milk.
really should use. And it doesn't have all the nut seed oils and all of that stuff.
I think oat milk's pretty bad for you.
Oat milk at this point is not ideal.
Yeah.
Unsweetened almond milk by mom.
A lot of data's come out.
It's much better.
We can't be churning our own milk. I mean, we gotta.
No, I am not making my own milk. Okay, although I did during COVID. And then I have this gluten-free coconut granola that is organic and
What's
it's
the
like
brand?
Erewhon vibes.
Okay.
And I put like a couple tablespoons. It just gives it a crunch, and you don't do that until the last minute. So I always blend the protein first, and this is where people screw up. Don't throw all the ingredients in and the protein, and then the ice and blend. Blend the protein first because it gets chalky.
You might have to write this down. I might have to do a blog post on
It's
it
like
to go with this.
It's like the almond milk, the flax, the chia, and the protein blend.
And then you add the rest.
Then you add the ice, the blueberries. Usually I'll do like a quarter of a banana just for texture. And then at the very last minute, I'll throw in the crunch.
All right, I am getting ready to go to New York. And one thing that is in my bag at all times is my probiotic. I do not screw around when it comes to a probiotic. And the probiotic that I have is one that can actually survive the trip to my gut. And that is Just Thrive. You've heard me talk about it forever. I also use it in tandem with Just Thrive's Just Calm because one is a psychobiotic, the Just Calm, and then we have the probiotic. And together, it's basically taking control of your mental health and your gut health. This is like the daily routine duo. You're going to notice with the probiotic too that your digestion's better, your energy's better, your sleep is better. These two things in tandem just work. And I know this because we had a microbiologist on the podcast and he broke it down for us of why we need a probiotic and why we need a psychobiotic. So if you want to beat bloat, if you have digestive issues, if you have stress, this is an amazing duo and we have 20% off for you. So you get a 90-day bottle of Just Thrive and Just Calm. You're going to go to justthrivehealth.com with promo code SKINNY90. While you're there, check out their other research-based products for optimal gut and immune health. They really got you covered. There's something for everyone, even a probiotic for your fur baby. You could sprinkle this on top of their food. I mean, amazing. You're going to go to justthrivehealth.com with promo code SKINNY90. Take control of your health this year with Just Thrive. You're going to go to justthrivehealth.com, promo code SKINNY90. All right, there is really no excuse when it comes to wellness and fitness now because Alo Moves. It is a streaming on-demand wellness platform that features yoga, fitness routines, meditation sessions. They even have like gua sha, everything in one place. They have yoga, bar, Pilates, cardio, HIIT, everything. How I like to use this is if I'm busy and I don't have time to go to the gym or meet with a trainer, is I'll just pull out my cute nude little yoga mat. I'll turn on a podcast sometimes and I will just do the workout. They literally have like 100 new classes added every single month. So every time I go back, there's something new. And total, they have like 3,000 classes. Why this is also amazing is they have beginner to advanced. So when I was pregnant, I would do the beginner. And then as I was postpartum, I would do the beginner. Then I did intermediate. And now I'm finally at advanced. If you want to fit this into your schedule and save time, you have to check out Alo Moves. All classes are on demand. It's not just me that's loving Alo Moves. It was voted Best Wellness App of 2022 by InStyle Magazine and Best Yoga App of 2023 by Women's Health. For a limited time, Alo Moves is offering our listeners a free 30-day trial. Plus, get this, 50% off an annual membership. But you can only get it by going to alomoves.com and use code SKINNY in all caps. That's ALOmoves.com and all caps code SKINNY to get a free 30-day trial plus 50% off an annual membership. Alomoves.com, code SKINNY, all caps.
Shadi and Haley were doing my hair and makeup, and they're like, Tracy makes this smoothie and it has like a crunch in it. They're like, it's the best crunch. And I was like, oh my God, I got to ask her about that.
It's good.
Okay, what's the Mediterranean tuna salad?
Okay, so this we use like a high quality tuna, like canned, but like in a bottle that is organic and you know, again, the whole tuna. Like, did you watch Seaspiracy?
I didn't.
Don't.
Okay.
If you're a fish lover.
I eat tuna every day.
Okay, I love tuna.
What kind of tuna do you eat? Is there a brand?
There's a brand that we got that a chef like introduced me to, and I can't think of the name of it, but I'll send you a picture of it. It's phenomenal.
Okay.
And it's in a glass bottle.
Okay.
And so you use that tuna, and then you put a little bit of champagne vinegar, a little bit of olive oil, cracked pepper, salt, garbanzo beans, some chopped up olives, fresh parsley, and just
I'm getting hungry.
Are you making this yourself? You're so busy.
No.
Okay, so you have someone helping you make it. This is, I love the honesty.
I taught them.
Okay.
Because I figured out how to make it. And then I was like, here's the thing. And so Miriam, my housekeeper, is fire at it. And so is my nanny.
Her name's Miriam.
Well, Miriam is my housekeeper and Ashley is my nanny.
Miriam is who helps us.
Miriam's fire.
Okay. I need to teach Miriam how to make
Lauren,
this.
but the problem is that you need to learn how to make it first, and I've never seen you successfully learn how to make
Why
anything.
can't I just give the recipe? That's not true. I do make a mean tuna salad.
And it's great for like 2 days.
If I want to stay like trim and on a diet, I just have Lauren cook for me for like a week, which means it doesn't happen.
You know what I put on my tuna that's life-changing?
What?
It's called maca, Macha.
Mm-hmm.
And it's chili flakes and a little bit of olive oil.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so good.
I bet
tuna.
that would probably be good in this recipe.
100%.
Like a little bit of spice.
And maybe some sliced pepperoncini. How do you say
Pepperoncini?
Pepperoncinis are
Pepperoncinis?
so
No,
underrated.
wait, pepperoncinis.
I think they need better PR. They belong in every sandwich.
It's fantastic.
They belong in tuna salad. They belong in egg salad. They don't get enough hype.
I don't think they belong in every sandwich. I think that some
100%.
sandwiches
like a cold cut situation.
Yeah.
I don't know,
100%.
turkey?
You cannot go wrong on tuna. It's excellent.
Egg salad.
Turkey.
I think turkey is just
Meh.
no, I just think
boring.
it's not an elevated bird. I'm not into it.
I mean, it's only served so many times a year.
This is the thing. If turkey was so good, we would have Thanksgiving dinners all the time. Nobody does.
It's my favorite holiday. Like I eat turkey sandwiches for like 3 days after, but I don't order a turkey sandwich when it's not around that time.
I just feel like somebody got a turkey and like, I don't know. I just feel like
chicken's not elevated.
I mean, I love chicken.
I don't think it's elevated.
I mean, it's a dirty bird, but I'm going to eat it because it's lean protein. And I'm already screwed on eggs. I have a gluten situation, not like that serious, clearly, because I eat all sorts of things with gluten.
So you eat your Mediterranean tuna salad that someone helps you make because you're so fucking busy, which I know you are. I've heard from multiple people.
And on the go, I'll take it with like a gluten-free cracker.
It's a gluten-free cracker. Have a brand. Everyone loves brands.
I have those seeded ones.
Ellis Flats.
Yes.
Why didn't you come prepared with your recipe book?
No, I already know because I know how she eats. I know it's a specific way. Ella Flats are amazing.
They're really good.
They're on Amazon. Okay, so then after you have your Mediterranean tuna salad and your Coca-Cola Celsius, what else are you eating at dinner?
Well, that depends. Like tuna, when I have the kids, so I have them Mondays and Tuesdays, and now I have Scarlett full time, but generally speaking, I'd only have the kids Monday, Tuesday, and then every other weekend. So Mondays and Tuesdays, we always are at home cooking. So we love a Mexican night, but I'll do it like the kids will have like the tortilla and the whole thing. And I'll make a bowl with like the black beans. I usually am like light on the rice. I'll add veggies and like the carne asada, but like I don't skimp on the protein. Like I go there. I try to eat like as much protein as I can so that I have the energy to lift. And I just feel better and I feel leaner. And it's interesting. I'm not eating any less calories, but this whole InBody machine that I now have, which has changed everything for me because I never used to like to weigh myself because I was so neurotic about having to be under 120 pounds. Like there was something in my head that said at my height, I'm supposed to be under 120 pounds because that's what Howard Stern said back in the day or some shit.
I remember
like,
that.
Isn't that crazy? Like he used to ask women what he weighed.
I remember he said you should be under 120 pounds. I remember that.
That's crazy because that resonated with me like clearly on a deep level and fucked with my head to the point where I was like, I need to be under 120 pounds.
I have to apologize for saying oat milk's bad. This guy got away with all sorts of stuff. He was on the cut. Jesus Christ.
Oh my God.
If I was just born 20 years earlier, I could have gotten away with a lot more, Lauren.
Murder.
So the InBodies helped.
Yes, because it measured. So earlier this year, after the holidays, when we started filming, while I was fit and I was in shape, I had gained some fat. And I was over 130 pounds, which most people would not believe. And I just wanted to figure out like so I got really hardcore back into like, making sure that I was eating at lunch because what would happen is sometimes I wouldn't. And then cut two, it's like I've had a celery juice, a Celsius, some sort of weird snack on the go, let someone past me. And then it's 6 o'clock and I just want to like force food in my mouth as fast as I can. So I just got really clean about my habits again. And we were starting the show and I was militant about being in the gym. And so that allowed me on the weekends to be able to drink the wine that I want to drink and enjoy the potato. I mean, I love a potato, like any which way. Fry it, bake it, roast it. Like that's my jam. And
the Kardashians just did like a potato thing in Paris and they had caviar on top.
Caviar Caspia.
Yeah, we need to go there.
They opened one in LA.
Right?
Yeah, it's the most expensive potato you've ever had in your life.
Michael, save up.
Yeah, but if
Don't
you
whore
love
yourself out, I want a fucking potato.
If you love a good caviar potato, it's fire.
I love a potato. I agree with you 100% about protein. And I think that women need to start talking more about meat who are eating meat because I think a lot of people, because of social media, have developed sort of vegan is the only way to go.
I couldn't
eat
disagree
meat
more.
all day long. Meat's changed my body. I also want to say this. My hair is 30 times thicker. When I go to LA, the people that do my hair is like, what's happening? It's the aminos in the meat. My hair is thicker, my ponytail, my eyebrows.
Yeah.
I feel like it helps me lose weight. And I do think it gets a bad rep.
I just think at this point, like I said, don't watch Seaspiracy because there's so many things that you cannot eat meat because of the way the animals are treated or because you just don't like the texture of it, or fish, or all of these different reasons. I've so many friends with like mercury poisoning. I'm sure I have it. But at the end of the day, I think as long as there's like a healthy balance of all of the things, you're much better off than focusing on one area. Because I do think the problem with some of my vegan friends and or just vegetarian friends even that aren't as hardcore is they lack energy. They lack the ability to like sustain. Now, I'm not going to say there aren't people out there like a Lance Armstrong or whoever that are like superheroes and they're on the pedestal saying this is the way to go. But I just think a healthy balance of everything, like including alcohol and marijuana and whatever it is. Like I think there's if people saw my diet every day, they'd be like, she's like grubbing down pizza with her boyfriend. But the truth is, I don't ever have a desire or like I'm never like out of control because it's in my life.
When you go out on the weekends, are you only drinking on the weekends or do you drink throughout the week?
I don't. To be honest, my boyfriend's a really good influence on me. He doesn't, because he gets up so early, we're not out as much. He's a homebody, so we're at home a lot more. And so there's no reason for me, if I have a stressful day, I'll have a glass of wine at the end of the day. But I just don't have the desire to go out and have 4 or 5 tequila sodas on a Tuesday. Like I want to wake up and I want to feel good. And it took me a minute to get away from that. But once I did, my energy level was like so much better. It's unbelievable the difference I feel when I even if I have more than 2 drinks. Like
I can feel it after one.
I have a couple margaritas and I'm like, okay. But beyond that, like it's too much for me. So it's 2 days a week, sometimes once during the week, maybe once on the weekend.
This is why I think weightlifting is important for everybody because you can go, like, say you're just doing a cardio or a run, like you kind of go on autopilot with some of these workouts, even Pilates in some way. And I'm not diminishing some of these exercises,
No,
but
of course not.
weightlifting, you have to be so actively engaged and it's requiring so many different muscle groups and so many different movements. If your brain is not in it and your mind's on it and you're feeling like shit because of alcohol, you can't do the workout, right? Or you're not going to do it effectively. And so I feel like when you start getting into heavy weights and weightlifting, one, you're going to get all the benefits we talked about, but two, as a guard against doing things that are maybe not so good for your body, maybe drinking on a Tuesday, you like don't want to do it because you know the effect that's going that is going to have the next morning.
100%. It totally wrecks me. And I hate getting into the gym and making it all the way there and feeling like
Got
a 50% version of where I should be. Like I showed up, I want to be able to give it everything I have, and it's worked. But I do Pilates as well a couple of days a week. And I love that. And it's like a whole different muscle group. So I just enjoy it. And to be honest with you, I actually feel better. And people look at working out as like such a drag or, and I think being, with someone who this is his life, I hear it from him all the time. People sign up to do this stuff because they feel like it's the way out or the way in to being healthy, but it's not a real commitment. Coming to the gym once a week or twice a week with a trainer isn't going to change your body or your mindset. It's a daily commitment to yourself and to the person that you're training with. If you're not with them, then you're sending them a photograph of what you're doing. And that's the only way to sort of change your actual body. But also, I think the feeling, which for me is like a 10. Like I went from waking up and feeling like shit 4 days a week to waking up and feeling energized and getting out of bed and feeling good.
I feel like you would love cold plunge sauna.
I mean, first of all, I'm like obsessed with infrared plunge.
So you already do it. Because you're like, I'm like, if you don't do that, you're like the perfect candidate.
So who got me into that was Haley Heckman got me into this blanket by Higher Dose.
Okay, love it. We love Higher Dose.
So I'm like in that blanket on my bed, and I'm like, it's not necessarily a replacement for infrared, but like when you can't make it or I work until 7:00 and I'm just feeling bloated or like just not good about what I ate that day or the alcohol in my system from the weekend. I jump in that thing and I watch like an episode of whatever show I'm doing, and I feel like magic after. But the cold plunge is key. I'm putting one in my new gym.
Blue Cube.
Blue Cube?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll show you a picture.
Oh, you gotta, yeah.
Blue Cube. I
Great.
think. Don't
and
you
I'm
think,
doing
Michael?
an infrared in the gym too.
Sunlighten for infrared.
God.
Sunlighten for infrared.
You'll have to text
Clear
this to
light
me.
for sauna, and Higher Dose for blanket, and Blue Cube. I'm gonna text you it.
Okay.
Show her a picture.
I'm pulling it up right now, and yeah,
it'll look pretty. You want it to look pretty.
We always fuck it up.
100%.
That's what we have in our yard, and we always mess it up, but they look really good.
Pretty. It's wood. It's very grounding.
Is it so cold?
It gets
I
to, like,
do. I would love to like
37,
design
but the water
my own,
keeps moving.
though. Can you imagine
100%.
like limestone,
Like a sexy one.
so sexy? Like you could do
Like
the
it's
shape.
a part. It's like next to like a part of the pool vibe.
I know.
Yeah, they do. I think they've been
Why aren't
doing
they
more custom ones.
They don't do it how I have it in my head.
But like how I have it in my head is it becomes a part of like the pool, but like a separate, like, how they have the built-in jacuzzis where it
Yes.
kind of like there should be like a separate section where you can just jump into that. But
Cody, we need to take a note. We need to start an
Yeah,
ice
you
plunge.
can do it, and I'm sure that they can build it. Like these guys, they started doing all these things by hand, and then
Yeah.
they really just kind of exploded. It's like right time, right place. But I think like
feel like if this doesn't work out for me on the mic, like I am gonna design custom ice baths because I have some really good ideas that I don't mean to brag are like gonna blow your mind if you saw them. First of all, there needs
I
to be
feel like
jets,
I could be a pool
so it's
contractor.
extra cold.
like 100, like I literally have more pools saved in my Instagram than I'm crazy town about pools.
We also need to like mix up the whole pool market. It's
I
getting
don't
boring.
understand why. I sat down with my pool builder, and I have a tiny backyard because I'm in the flats. But like when I'm working with a developer or whatever, I'm like, we need a kick-ass pool. They're like not that great. Like great, it's an infinity pool. It's 80 feet long, but like where are these like really epic where you see them all over the world and they're all plaster and Greece is like slaying it and all these different countries, and then for some reason in America, we're like still doing like a rectangular pool with like coping.
It's giving
like
stale.
It's stale.
It's not evolving.
Mm-mm.
It's not fresh.
Well,
it's
listen.
not on the pulse. I'm sorry. We need to mix up the pool market. It's not feeling avant-garde. If anyone has any ideas, let me know. We need to mix it up. It's really bad.
I don't want to shit on my fellow Americans, but I will. Many of us Americans just lack taste, right? It's just, you go to Europe and you go to these places, you see these beautiful things and you come here and you're like, why did you do it that way? Why does that angle look like? It drives me fucking nuts, right?
It's so true.
I don't know what that is.
Well, can someone please come out with like some
I think
really
it's because
cool
we're
tools?
impatient and we just want to get shit done. And so nobody takes the time to actually like be artistic.
I literally on the pool front have like talked to like top pool builders in Los Angeles and been like, I don't understand why we can't do like this type of plaster and have it go over. Like there's just so many different, like here is the pool that I want. It's existing. And he's like, you can't do that. I'm like, why not?
It's probably because there's not good margins in it, right? It's like, oh, well, that's going to like cut into my, my square design that I make 80%
Yeah, they're like
right?
trying to say that it's not the best way to do it and it won't last. And I'm like, well, it's lasting in Bali.
Someone needs to shake up the industry. I'm just saying. And we need a disruption.
We're inviting a pool designer onto the show. I'm just kidding. We're not. We're definitely not.
Okay.
Just kidding. It's not going to get done.
Tracy to tell us some tools that are in her toolbox wellness wise, supplements, minerals, powders, things that you do that are like wellnessy and woo woo.
I don't do a ton, to be honest. I take magnesium. I'm constantly taking flax and chia every single day. I take athletic greens 3-4 days a week. I always do the celery juice.
You make your own celery juice?
Bristol Farms makes it for me.
So it's ready to go in your fridge?
100%. I pick it up every 2 days.
The reason I'm asking Tracy these questions, you guys, is because Tracy, I feel like you and I really are very thoughtful about our time.
Yes.
And the reason that I say that is because we have the same hair and makeup. And they tell me in LA when they're doing my makeup, they tell me how you get things done when you're getting your hair and makeup done. And I feel like you're like
they've heard more shit behind the scenes, like between clients.
They've never said a word.
They know it all.
No, I just think that you're very purposeful with your time. And I appreciate that. So when I ask you, do you make your own celery juice? To take a juicer out and make your own celery juice takes 15 minutes. So I'm wondering.
That's how I started the celery journey. But because I was making it by myself, and then I realized I had to buy like 6 bunches of celery, not 6 stalks. Like
it's a lot.
But there's so many people that come on this show, and there's so many people that are out there professing all these wellness hacks and routines on this. I feel like if you get the right sleep and you lift weights consistently and you double the amount of protein you think you need to actually take in primarily animal-based product, that kind of takes care of the majority of the issues. I know people don't like that because it's blanket, but in my experience, like I don't do a lot of crazy stuff. And that is basically my prescription. Get better sleep, get some morning sunlight, lift weights, and eat more protein.
Let me tell you about the best body oil on the planet, okay? Primally Pure. They have this trifecta. It's like a trio with 3 body oils. Lemongrass, jasmine, this blue situation. All 3 of these are insane. So I first started trying these because I was pregnant and I wanted to swap out all my beauty products. I was like, I want to go non-toxic. And so I picked Primally Pure. I've been using the brand for a while, and then I saw Gracie Norton rave about it on TikTok. She's a friend of mine who's been on this podcast, which is a great episode, and she's all about non-toxic beauty. This body oil specifically is light, it's non-greasy, and it leaves your skin feeling really smooth and radiant. On Primally Pure, you can find skin, body, baby, and hair and home. Everything's non-toxic. It's made with raw, real ingredients to optimize your results and overall health. If you're looking to switch your routine to fully non-toxic, I would recommend checking out their whole site. It's female founded. Anyways, go check out the body oil. If you're on the fence about making the swap to non-toxic products, especially natural deodorant, check out their 5-star review at primallypure.com from customers just like you. Once you're convinced, use code SKINNY for 15% off your Primally Pure purchase. That's www.primallypure.com. Use code SKINNY, SKINNY at checkout for 15% off your order. Visit primallypure.com and use code SKINNY at checkout for 15% off your order. And what you want to search is the Body Oil Trio.
The Skinny Confidential Him and Her podcast is brought to you by BetterHelp. We've had so many high performers on this show talking about multiple facets of life and how they find performance, longevity, health, wellness to live happy, productive lives. And in that toolbox for many of these high performers, if not most of them, is therapy. The problem is therapy has not always been accessible to everybody. You have to go find a doctor. You have to drive to an office. Sometimes it's expensive. It's such a pain to even get there. Why I love this platform so much is you can do this all from the comfort of your own home. So you're already in a comfortable state of mind. You're already in a comfortable place. And you can find the therapist that's right for you using this platform, BetterHelp, all online directly from your home. Anyone that's interested in therapy, sharing their thoughts, sharing their feelings, talking through an issue, really just working through any kind of problem or dilemma in their lives. This is an amazing platform to get started with therapy right away, like I said, from the comfort of your own home. So therapy is all about deepening your self-awareness and understanding, because sometimes we don't know what we want or why we react the way we do until we talk things through. So if you're thinking about starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/skinny today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/skinny. betterhelp.com/skinny.
Okay, people in our office literally got in a fight over perfect bars. I'm telling you, there was like a fight over who got to take which flavor. My daughter loves them. Michael loves them. I love to put them in my handbag, especially when I'm traveling or after a workout. Today, even my executive assistant came over and she was eating the blue one. I mean, everyone loves them. Everyone cannot say enough good things. I would start with the dark chocolate chip peanut butter with sea salt. This is so delicious. What I do for Zaza is I'll cut the bar up into little pieces and like make them into like little slices for her and display them all cute. I also will bring her like the little one. It has 6 grams of protein in my diaper bag all the time. And then for Michael, I'll bring the bigger one. And this one has 17 grams of protein and comes in like all these delicious flavors. I always have the dark chocolate chip peanut butter on hand. They have like a cookie dough texture. It's creamy and full of flavor. It's some of the best bars on the market, and there's no artificial preservatives. They're also non-GMO, gluten-free, soy-free, kosher, and low GI. Perfect Bar knows it will be love at first bite, so for a limited time, they're offering you a chance to try their refrigerated protein bars for free. Here's how it works. Sign up for email or text and upload a picture of your receipt from your local grocery store. Then they'll reimburse you for the cost of 1 bar directly to your Venmo or PayPal account. I mean, this is so cool, right? All you have to do is go to perfectsnacks.com/skinny to get a free Perfect Bar today. That's perfectsnacks.com/skinny to get a free Perfect Bar today. Happy snacking.
100%. And we didn't really talk that much about it, but sleep is the most crucial piece of everything. And I think that I wasn't getting enough sleep for several years, and that had to do with my divorce and just the stress of life. But, it's like now if I don't get 8 hours, I am so off my game because I've learned what it feels like to actually feel right and have like serotonin pumping and feel refreshed and recharged and able to sort of tackle 6 clients in a day and then shoot the show in the afternoon and then go home and deal with my kids and then get on a Zoom with like my ex-husband. It's a lot.
What was it like going through a divorce with 2 kids? I mean, what is that like for someone who's never been through divorce?
Yeah.
Tell me, because I've heard it's like losing someone.
Yeah.
We get some ideas over there or what?
You never know.
I think a lot of people that are married with younger kids that are struggling early in their marriage with toddlers or whatever. And like, should I stay or should I go? And so many say, no, I can't do this while the kids are young. And then they wait. And then all of a sudden the kids are 14 and then you have big kid problems, and big kid problems are a lot more complicated than peeping on the potty, or tantrums. So then it becomes, God, I got to get them through this. I don't want to leave in the middle of like their angst and the anxiety issues that they're having because they're applying out to schools. And then before you know it, the kids are gone. And then you're in this rut of now it's time. And meanwhile, the kids have known all along that there's been a challenge because kids are the most intuitive creatures on the planet. They're living their truth from the moment they wake up to the moment they go to bed. So I've always said, if you're unhappy in a relationship, you need to leave it. I stayed 5 years too long for the same reason. So like I failed at that mission. But I wouldn't take a piece of it back. Jason and I are in a really good place now. 4.5, 5 years later, we're co-parenting in a good way. He's remarried. I'm in a relationship. And we've gotten through it, but it wasn't easy. I was on a TV show when it went down. And it took 2 years for me to really get back on my feet. And unfortunately, it went down on television. And I think people didn't know me yet on the show. And I think that, I was the first woman on an all male cast for 10 years. So they weren't very welcoming, to be honest with you. Particularly women, which was kind of shocking to me because I'm girls' biggest advocates. I'm wear the crown, honey. That's my thing.
And what do you think the main reason women had that response to you?
I think women are our harshest critics. I think it's, there was a time period where it was men are holding us back. But the truth is, I think we hold ourselves back by not supporting each other and not celebrating each other's successes and sort of limiting the way we dress, the way we present ourselves, you can't be sexy, smart, and good at your job all at once.
Have you seen that Bill Burr stand-up comedy recently?
No.
He was talking about this exact same thing. And he was saying, basically, as it relates to women's sports, people are getting mad about, paying women's sports, but he's saying none of the women or a lot of women don't show up to advocate or to support women in sports, right? But then at the same time, everyone's tuning in to Housewives or the Kardashians. They're not cheering for women building each other up. They're cheering when women are tearing each other down. And it was this whole piece on that aspect of it. It's the dollars kind of flow to where attention goes.
You are right though. If you're multifaceted and maybe you I'm just making this up, but lip injections and Botox, but you're also super smart and you can walk into a boardroom of men and you're a great mother and you're a great whatever. I feel like everyone's constantly trying to look for the whole.
Right.
And I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about what I've seen on social media.
Totally.
And I can only imagine how it is on a television show. I mean, it's you're beautiful. You've got all these boxes checked, and it's almost like they're just looking for what's wrong.
Our friend called it
100%.
tall poppy syndrome, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's, I think that's the problem is I think, right now we're in this phase of we're trying to get equal pay and we're going down the path and women are doing really well in business. And there's people like me on a TV show that historically has been all men. The Kardashians have set a tone that you can be sexy, smart, and make $1 billion. These are all things that I think break the boundaries of what is expected, to be my age and not wear a half top you can't do both. I can't be in front of a client and do a $25 million deal while wearing or showing my stomach because that would be inappropriate, right? But if I can show my stomach at 47, doesn't that say something about how hard I've worked to get that stomach?
How are you 47? I can't believe you're 47. There's no way.
100%. 1975, baby. Yeah, I mean, I have almost a 17-year-old daughter.
That's blows my mind.
Yeah.
I mean, you look insane.
Thank you.
Wear your fucking crop top with your $25 million deal.
I was like, you know what? Screw, and every once in a while I'll I try not to let the social media piece get to me or whatever, but every once in a while I'll read a comment that will resonate with me in a way and I'm just not having it that day. Or I want to sort of most of my following is female. I have more male following than I have had in the past, but my genuine following are young women that are coming up in the business world and between 25 and 44. And those are the women that are following me. And if they're not supporting me and there's one bad egg that breaks the whole thing, right? And so I speak to them.
But you know what's interesting? When you do speak to them direct, they always end up apologizing.
They change the whole channel.
Because you know what? What it really is someone who wants acknowledgement.
100%.
And the second that they get that acknowledgement, their tone changes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is interesting. You wrote a book and I feel like there's so many tips in this book. Can you give the audience a few?
God, I wrote it it's been 3 years now. It's called Fear is Just a 4-Letter Word. And really the book for me came out of coming out of the first season of the show going through a divorce and kind of being terrified of doing another season. And I was sitting down with my agents and I was like, I'm going to suck this up and I'm going to power through and I'm not going to let them break me. I'm not walking away from this. This is my opportunity. I've worked 20 plus years and failed along the way to get here. These guys came into the bit. Josh was like 18, was on the show by the time he was 22 years old. He grew up on this show. He became successful on this show, not because of it necessarily, but certainly helped. I waited until I was like 42 years old. And it wasn't to say that I didn't have opportunities along the way, but when I was writing the book, I was like, the story that I want to tell is going to be for women that don't really know how to walk into a room with a group of incredibly powerful men and be able to own it and be in their own feminine energy, not like, playing it being masculine, which I did for a really long time. Now, some might call my voice masculine because I speak up and I say what I mean and I mean what I say, but that really is my own feminine energy. And I wanted to share that with young women. And I said, I remember to my editor, this book is about, it's not for the divorcee at 45. That's my age. It's for the girl coming out of college that doesn't know her way around yet because she's been so coddled her whole life and she really doesn't have the confidence and she's just put her feet on the ground in a new city and she doesn't know how to walk into a room really and own it. I ended up being right. Like the editors were totally wrong. My publisher was like, sorry. Yeah. Turns out the book was for the 20-something young women and even men, but the book really is all about confidence and it's all about like real steps to get there.
You are someone who's incredibly confident. What does that look like for you behind the scenes? Have you always been confident?
I think it's come from falling on my face so many times and having the ability to get back up, that the getting back up piece just got easier. And I think that's the hard part, right? Like, for women and men coming into business or trying a new career at an age that feels wrong or following a dream that you never thought was possible, like your biggest fear is that you're going to fail. Well, guess what? If you fail 150 times in a row and you get up over and over again, that failure becomes a lot easier to take.
Because you can rah yourself up till the cows
manifest,
come home. Yeah. But until it actually happens, you kind of don't believe yourself until you actually do pick yourself up.
Yeah.
Right. And so like, I think we go through and like, yeah, I'm saying I'm confident, but until you actually prove it by getting up, by taking action, by actually falling on your face and doing what you say you could do to yourself, I don't think it can happen, which is, to your point, the hard thing. Because a lot of people, they do as much as they can to avoid falling on their face. And I think the falling on the face is the
because they don't put themselves out there, but then they never really risked it to begin with.
Yes.
Right. And that by virtue of me failing as often as I did for as long as I did until I became successful in the business prior to the show, I had to learn that way.
What age did you become, would you say, quote unquote, successful?
Like, it depends on how you, I think I never thought I was going to make a ton of money in real estate. So when I got into this business in my 20s, I guess I was like 24 or 25 years old. The first few years, I just assumed I was going to make like $100,000 a year because I like know people and I'm from LA and I know like rich people. This should be easy. No, I was totally wrong. I made $30,000 for the first 2 years. I ended up joining a team again, fell on my face. I want to say my first big sale where I made a few $100,000 was a north of $25 million sale. It was close to 30 million. And I got the check. Back in that day, we used to get checks. And I looked at it and I was like, holy shit, this is happening. Like if this is happening now, 6-7 years into the business, I have the ability to make this in my 40s, like a real major, I could be a powerhouse.
What's the biggest deal you've ever closed?
To date, 57 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
What does that look like? Like, what is the
It's a lot of fucking money.
I know, but what is the person who buys it like a certain, like,
you want to know what the person is?
Yeah.
She's a badass CEO of a public company.
Can you tell me off air?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. So when that deal's being negotiated, do you negotiate it like you would do $1 million deal, or is it completely different?
I think what's different about it, I always say to agents that are maybe newer to the luxury market, don't be intimidated by the number. Treat it like it's a $900,000 condo because the confidence that you have. But when you're dealing in a $57 million state, it's a little bit different. I mean, you've got attorneys involved at the highest level. You have massive egos involved.
On both sides, probably, right?
Everybody wants to earn their dollar, right? Including the attorneys, which oftentimes end up being the biggest challenge between putting a buyer and seller together. So you as the agent have to really be the good go-between where you're representing your client's best interest, but you're also still trying to hold the deal together because everybody at that level is trying to make it not work because then they've proven their value. You shouldn't buy this because the market's tanking. You shouldn't buy this because who knows where your stock's going to go in the next 12 months. You shouldn't buy the ABC. Everybody always has a reason. And I think, that's what separates sort of the great agents from the good. You have to be able to walk the line between keeping the deal together and never letting it die. And I'm the person that will take it to the absolute, like where they're like, literally, fuck off. It's, it's done. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Is there like a rule book that you have for negotiating?
Everything, every time it's different.
It's different.
Just when you think you know it all and you have like a day of like, I'm going to pat myself on the back, someone slaps you again. So I never have ego in this industry. Every time I come across someone new, there's so many talented agents out there in my field. Drew Fenton is one of my very, very good friends in LA. This guy sells $800 million in a year by himself, not with a team of 100, right? Like by himself with a couple of assistants. And so when you're talking about doing business at that level, I feel like there's always something more that I can learn, something that I can do. And that's why I'm here. It was the next market for me.
She's in Austin.
Yeah.
Michael doesn't know this.
Well, I figured you were doing something.
Howdy.
Hey. No, it's
when you're ready to buy property.
Did we talk about this last time? I think it's super smart that you're coming out here and doing this, right?
We did talk about it briefly, and it was something that we were considering. And now it's officially open. We've opened in Dallas. I just hired my first agent in Austin, and we'll eventually open in Houston as well.
Yeah, I mean, you see it. You can't drive around here without looking at 18 cranes, right? There's just so much going on. There's so many companies out here, so much growth. It's really changing. I know some people in Austin don't like that, but it once progress starts happening,
it's such a cool town. What do they say? Keep Austin weird, which I love. Like it's like so like Venice Beach, like it really is. Like I was like driving down. Is it Columbus? No. What's the main street?
If you threw me in the middle of Austin and told me to get home, I have no idea.
Colorado, no. Where all the restaurants are?
Oh, Congress.
Yeah, Congress. So we were driving down Congress. I'm like, this is like Venice Beach before it got like hanky.
Really?
Yeah, like it's still cool, and there's like some mom and pop vibe
and before,
going
like,
on.
The guy
it's
with
not
the sword came. there's guys with swords on Venice now. You gotta watch out.
It's nuts. It's nuts in Beverly Hills right now, but it's got such a cool vibe to it still. Like even driving through like Westlake today and like seeing some of these homes, like there's old craftsmen and like early 1900s builds. Like it's got a vibe here. And I like that. It's a little more like LA than I thought, way more like LA than Dallas is.
How are you going to manage Austin and LA? Like how are you going to do that?
I'm based in LA. So I'll fly out primarily because we're just starting in Austin. I'm here now. I'm going to Houston tomorrow. But I'll be out here once a month, probably for the first 6 months.
Well, Tracy, I don't know who your accountant is, but you might want to base out here.
I know. Trust me. I was
Cody, add it to the notes.
Well, by the way, like I grew up with horses. I grew up riding them. They were in my backyard. Like I want a ranch. It's not like quiet. My daughter rides horses. I could eventually see myself like having a big fat ranch. I don't know where yet. I haven't, found my
If you
my
had
spot.
to pick right now, gun to your head, where are you picking your ranch? You have to pick.
Okay, Austin probably.
Austin?
Yeah.
Huh. Is Josh on the ranch?
Josh is not on the ranch.
He's not even in
I don't
the
know if Josh
vicinity?
is a ranch guy.
Josh, are you joking? Josh couldn't like manage, he can't even he called me today and he goes, I'm trying to learn how to do my laundry. And I'm like, well, that's a good move.
Tell him to get Molly's Suds and Branch Basics.
He needs
No, because you don't want to be using Tide.
Well, first of all, his assistant or house manager that he just fired will have to do that because let's be honest. But the fact that he even said that he's learning how to do his laundry, I was like, this is a positive thing. Like you need things like this to ground you.
He was supposed to be here today. Now he can't defend himself.
Well, he has COVID.
Is it COVID or is it real COVID? Is it fake COVID?
What's fake COVID?
You know how people use COVID for the excuse?
Oh, yeah. No, it's real COVID.
It's real COVID.
Yeah.
Josh, I'd like to see your COVID test.
Yeah,
please.
send the COVID positive test, Josh.
Send the test. Where can everyone find you? How can they support the show? How can they get the book? Tell us all the things.
So right now I think we're on episode 5 this week where I will transform myself into Josh Altman, which will be a treat for the audience of $1 Million Listing. You guys, I've never felt more embarrassed in my entire life, but I went there. So this week on the show, I'll be dressing up like him and doing a music video and recreating that from 10 years ago that he did when he got into the business and started becoming successful. It's wild. I'll have to show the video. You will cry.
He created a music video?
He did a music video.
We
What's
never
the
had
name
him
of
on.
it? What's it called again? Like I'm blanking right now on the spot. The name of the song. Come on. We had it like.
It must not have been that good of a
Sell the
music.
dream. I sell the dream.
I sell the dream.
I'm going to send you the link to this video. You will pee your pants.
Taylor, can we put it in here? Like put in I sell the dream.
You're going to die. So that airs this week. It's on Bravo at 9/8 Central. And you can find me on Instagram at Tracy Tutor. And Fear is Just a 4-letter word is sold worldwide on Amazon and anywhere you want to, Barnes & Noble, wherever you can find it.
Before you go, I have to ask you this for my own selfish self. What are some things that you do to manage your time? You have to tell us this before you go.
I'm maniacal, but I also put really good people around me. And you and I were talking about that before we got on the air. Like I'm already a lunatic when it comes to my schedule, like down to every 15 minutes. Even before here, I needed to like have 15 minutes of downtime and just like breathe. And so we did that. But you got to have good people in front of you. And I in the last year hired one of the best people that runs my entire operation. And that's this man sitting to my right, Cody Kaufman.
And he's dressed like a hot golfer.
Yeah.
Tracy, can we give away 3 copies of your book that's signed?
100%.
All right, you guys, all you have to do is tell us your favorite part of this episode on my latest post at Lauren Bostic and follow at Tracy Tutor on Instagram. I love your highlights too. Go through her highlights. You can see her weightlifting. You can also see her book, all the things. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks, guys.
You can come on anytime you want.
Oh,
we could have
thank
talked about 100 things.
I know.
Thanks for making the trip.
Of course. I love it.
Thanks, Tracy.